obvious, none of us are safe from our emotions, especially when we find ourselves in angry, heated situations. If we're not well practiced in healthy communication, then having an angry outburst is a great possibility. And while none of us want to see ourselves in these situations, we are aware that they happen. And the best thing that we can do is ensure that we're prepared for what happens once the angry outburst is done. It's difficult to come back once we lose our shit in a fit of anger. It's not impossible, just difficult. And it takes a mature mindset and a bit of humility to turn such a negative situation into a positive one. Found yourself in a situation where you have just blown up like a volcano. And that's okay. Well, it's not okay, but it happens to the best of us sometimes. Even the most composed, calm, cool, and collected individuals can lose their cool from time to time. You can't always escape your angry emotions. And sometimes they're going to get the best of you. And there are ways to deal with them once the moments pass. This is where our mindfulness techniques come in handy. When applied properly, mindfulness can be used at any time, providing an opportunity for a new beginning, a return to a balanced center. You cultivate your calmness and even allows you to clear your head enough to find some pretty innovative ways to redeem whatever issue brought you to such an explosive mental space. It's important to note that the miracle of mindfulness comes from facing your experiences and not ignoring or avoiding them. This is probably why the situation became bad enough for you to lose your cool in the first place, because you weren't dealing with the bottom line issues. And while it may be difficult or unpleasant to stand toe to toe with your problems, it is a necessary act that we all must do at some point, because the problems don't just magically disappear. They are going to sit and fester and probably get even bigger if you just simply ignore them or put them off for another time, a time that never comes. So, what's one of the best things that you can do after you've had an explosive situation? One of the best things that you can do when you begin to de-escalate an emotional situation is to give yourself and whatever individuals were involved, you need to give yourselves a timeout. There's no set time for this break. It could be 3 minutes or 3 days. It just depends on the people involved, the matter at hand, or if whatever you're working on is time sensitive. You all need to take the time that you personally require to calm down and clear your mental space so that you can approach the situation in a much more positive fashion. Use this time out to evaluate what went wrong during the previous interactions and how you can try to avoid allowing it to explode again in the future. You can also take note of what your emotions are making you feel in your physical body. Where on your body do you sense your feelings of anger? You may feel inclined to push the feelings down or simply ignore them, but this will eventually lead to other physical ailments that land you on some doctor's exam table or, God forbid, a slab in the morgue. Look into how things feel inside of your own physical body, detecting both large and small changes throughout the range of your physical senses. Do they rise and fall in intensity? Do they shift? If so, can you trace these movements? Can you locate them and mentally ease your body into letting those feelings go? Now, once you've done this, you try your best to silently name what you're experiencing. You can begin with the broad category of anger and then make an effort to see if you can narrow your awareness enough to pinpoint the sensation and degree of anger that you're experiencing. Is it disappointment? annoyance, irritability, outrage. Maybe it's just something as simple as you being sleepy or hungry. Finding the perfect label is like striking a baseball in the sweet spot of a bat when you're playing baseball. Another thing that you can do after you've unleashed your fury is to give yourself compassion. Love on yourself. Do some self-care. This emotion, anger, is a natural aspect that is a part of the human experience. We all feel overloaded and angry sometimes. Instead of criticizing and judging yourself, try embracing your own rage the way a mother who cradles her crying newborn child. What happens when you learn to soothe your anger with love and care instead of piling more negative emotions on top of it? And last but not least, be forgiving of yourself. The more easily you can forgive, the faster you'll be able to regain a stable balance in your emotions and proceed to the next logical steps towards correcting whatever negative situation caused you to explode and blow up on everyone. Try to remember that being angry is not a crime. Criticizing yourself and blaming yourself can only lead to a cycle of humiliation and self preoccupation. Self forgiveness is the best thing that you can do to cultivate a healthy mental state so that you will have better emotional control and prevent your angry outbursts in the future.